Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Say More podcast. I am your co-host, Phoebe Hagen, and today we have a special guest. We've actually had you request it quite a few times as well, but I wanted to talk
Really?
to you for, I've wanted to talk to you for so long anyway, because this year already, I was like wanting to ask you already so many questions just before, but I was like, nope, leave it for the podcast. But we
Uh-huh.
have Vania Auguste on today's podcast, which I'm so excited for.
Yes.
How are you, my girl?
I am good. I need to stop snacking, but I'm good.
Oh my God, that's my favorite thing ever. That is so funny. I mean, how's your week been obviously so far? What have you got up to this week so far?
I was at Ben Weeder this past weekend. I had a few girls. I had two coaching clients competing, and I had a couple of posing clients competing. So, it's always good to go to a show because then you get to see, like, I saw Ashlyn there,
Oh,
Cash was there, like a couple of people in the industry, and you get to catch up. And then, of course, like, the best thing is, like, meeting other people, and then, like, they motivate you. They're, like, so
yeah.
excited for you. They're, like, so proud. And I'm like, it feels good.
Yeah. Well, I
It
mean,
does.
girl, this year, which again, we'll speak about in today's podcast anyway, but this year has been like your year where you've come, you've conquered, you soared, like you've done so much. So
Thank
there's no
you.
doubt that so many people feel so motivated by you and like what you've done and stuff. So it's nice that you get that and like those people are coming up to you, like, and stuff like that. So that's exciting.
Yeah,
That's super
it
exciting.
is.
So, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna kind of jump straight into it and obviously get to everything. And I just want to kind of like go through your journey, if I'm honest, because you've done a lot this year. You've done a lot. You've been around in the industry for a very, very long time. But I feel like this year
Hmm.
you've made the most noise. Like you've made the
Right.
most noise in the industry. So I want to kind of like know more about like how that happened and stuff. So I mean, yeah, let's take it back to kind of like, I guess when you started bodybuilding, like how did
Hmm.
you, firstly, again, I know it's the generic question, but how did you get into bodybuilding and
Bodybuilding.
start your journey?
So, I was a dancer before. And I danced like in college, high school, and my family was pretty active. My sister was a track star. My dad was the Haitian soccer coach. So we were like very always active. And I remember when I left Haiti, I moved to Brooklyn. Dancing was like a big thing for us. So I got into dancing, college. I danced all like minor in dance. Like if my school, my college had like a major in dance, that would have been my major for sure.
Yeah.
But they didn't
Wow.
have it. So I minor in it. And then, during my senior year, I started having gap between classes. And I started working out, just going to the gym. I started getting interesting about it. And my ex-boyfriend at that time, he noticed I enjoy going to the gym. He's like, you can do bodybuilding. And I'm like, what is that? Yeah. And then he started showing me like pictures. He's like, he can do this. And I remember one time he showed me a picture of a girl. It was like a girl like muscle. And I was like, I don't know if I want to look like that, but I do like to work out. And then I started just like researching like just the diet. I remember at first it was like diet first. I was trying to see like food, like how they eat, what kind of protein. Because again, I'm Haitian, my family, we eat like heavy starch, heavy carbs, heavy fat. So it was just like changing like my habit. I started eating more healthy. I remember every morning I'll have a bagel. I started eating oatmeal in the morning. And I started researching for a coach. It took me about 6 months to hire my coach.
Hmm.
And before I hired my coach, I remember when I was at the gym, I was like, I need to know the name of the exercise. I need to know the name of the machine. I took like 6 months to learn, okay, this is a Smith machine. This is a barbell. This is like, I did my homework on all
That's
that.
good though.
Yeah. And then around that time, Bikini was there, but I used to watch like High Grade. Like, like
Yeah. Oh
I
my
watch like
God,
the
that era.
bodybuilders. Yeah, I would watch
Yeah.
their workout, like, okay, I'm gonna do a workout that was like 2 hours long. Like if you watch High
Hmm.
Green workout, it's like super long. And then I hired a coach and we decided to start prepping or start, building my physique a little bit more because I was very petite and you can tell I had like a little bit of muscle definition, but it was nothing. I was like, okay, so he was like, we can do like a 3 month body recomp and then we'll start prep. And at that time, I think it was like maybe a month before my show, I broke up with my boyfriend,
Hmm.
my ex-boyfriend. So it was just like, oh, I'm gonna show you that I can
Yeah.
do this.
I'm gonna
I
show
was
you
like,
how
yes.
how good I am.
Yes, it was just like, oh, it is on. So I was like, I stayed focused, did my first show, and it was one of the best gym show.
Hmm.
I can't remember the name of it. I got seven plays at that time. I was way too muscular. Again, background, my quad was big and stuff. Like
Mm,
I was the biggest in my class. I remember when I look at
yeah.
pictures, I was like, ooh. And at that time also, it was like super lean, that lean, very lean
Yeah.
look, a little bit of muscle definition. Um, and then ever since then, that was it. Like I kind of was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and I never looked back.
Well, do you know the hilarious thing is when you said that, I was like, oh, did you not? In my head, I thought, oh, did you not do the show? And you were like,
Yeah.
no, it's like revenge
No.
prep.
Yeah, it was just like I'm ready. I was like I remember like I was dreading like fasting cardio. When we broke up, I was like in the gym at 5 a.m. I was like, I'm
Oh
doing my
my
cardio.
God. Yeah.
It
You
was That's
enjoyed
how
it
it
so
got
much. You're like,
started.
let's
Yeah.
go.
I was like
Let's
so
go.
ready,
Oh
like
my
to show
God.
off.
That's so crazy. So, and what year was that? So, like, when did you start? So, what year was your first year?
That was 2015 was my first show.
2015. Okay. And then what did
Hmm.
you do kind of moving on from there? So like when would you say like obviously you got seventh place. So obviously
Uh-huh.
you are just out the top five.
Hmm.
So what did you kind of do? Obviously back like you had feedback and all that type of thing, but what was it
Well,
next steps after
so
that?
of course the feedback, my first feedback always like, you got to get your booty down. It's like, huh, okay, got it.
Damn it. Damn.
And then I left Brooklyn because I used to live in Brooklyn at that time, left Brooklyn, moved to Nashville, Tennessee. And in 2016, I did one show just to do a show and see like how things were run down here. And I won all my class except for right. I won all my class
Yeah.
except for the overall. And I was like, it was at that moment I was like, okay, maybe I could do this. I can take this serious
Yeah.
you know yeah. And then 2017 is when I started going to nationals, and actually they'll say, let's see if I can get my pro card, maybe I have a chance. My first national, I did junior USA 2017. I got last call out. I was the girl that was all the way at the end, at the very
Ah.
end.
Yeah. And you're like,
Yeah.
duh. When you
Yeah,
know
it was.
that, it's tough because you're like, please try and see me. Like, try and see me. They're just,
Yeah,
no, they're just
like they're
not. And
like,
you're
you're
like,
like,
okay,
please
cool,
just
that's
move
fine.
me in one. Like, no. Sadie's
No.
like, thank you, ladies. Like, got
You're
it.
like, okay,
Yeah, just
cool, that's fine. You're like, that's
but
okay, it's fine.
but the good thing is like when I went there, it definitely gave me a wake up call that I needed to be more
Hmm.
competitive. This is not like my hometown in Tennessee show. This is a different level. The girls take it more serious. Condition is a big deal. It just gave me a different perspective of how competitive I had to be to become a pro. And it was
Hmm.
also the first show that my mom went to watch, which was
Oh,
really good. It was
yeah.
really good because again, like we are Haitian, bodybuilding is very taboo in our culture. So when I
Hmm.
started doing it, it took her a while to understand why I was doing it, but she supported me, but not like 100%.
Straight away, yeah.
Right. Because I remember like when I was prepping for my first show, she would bring like dishes home, and she like Haitian traditional food. She's like, hey, you can have fried plantain, you can have fried this. I was like, Mom, I
Go,
cannot.
yeah. No, I can't. It's
I
literally
cannot.
covered in oil.
Yes, I'm like, I
It's the
cannot.
opposite.
So when she went to that show with me, Junior USA, she saw how leaner the girls were, and I remember she was on the phone with one of her friends, and she was like, "Yeah, Vanya did not do good. Her butt is too big. She doesn't have that line under her glutes." Talking about tie-ins.
And you're like, okay, thanks, mum. Thanks so
Right.
much for.
But it was like at that moment she understood that I had to be lean, I had to be
Uh-huh.
disciplined, and it gave her a different perspective. Like, okay, Vanya cannot have the fried plantain, if it's like one plantain, like I can't have it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was like the moment also like she actually accepted me as a bodybuilder.
Oh, I mean, that's
Yeah.
always, I think just parents in general, like I've said this to so many people beforehand, or like anyone that has kind of like asked me about like, African parents, or I think just any parents in general,
Hmm.
most of the time they don't understand it. Like
Yes.
it's not like they don't like it. It's just because they don't understand it and their kid is
Right.
doing something that they don't understand. They're trying to be like, why are you wanting to get half
Yeah.
naked on stage and be really, really lean? Like that makes no
Yes.
sense to me. Like,
Yes.
do you know what I mean? So I think that's nice that at least she kind of like, okay, cool. now I understand. Now I get it. Like, okay, cool. I'm
Yeah,
not going to make you food. I'm not going to, because my dad's the same. My dad was like, you can
yeah,
have chicken thighs. Like, it's still
yeah.
chicken. And I'm like, yeah, but dad, it's the fattiest part of the chicken. Like, I can't have it. And he wouldn't get it. He just
Yeah,
wouldn't get it until he saw my show. And I was like, now
right.
he's like, oh, okay, now I get it. Like, I
Yeah.
get it. And it's
Now he
nice.
understood why like you're so dedicated, like why you have to get up and do the cardio, why
Mhm.
like everything is like you have to be so disciplined because it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, was there
Yeah.
anything in that moment that I mean, before then, when you were kind of saying like, mum, no, like, did you do anything to kind of like help her understand it? Or like, because I know a few
Well,
people have asked me that before.
I have showed her pictures, but there wasn't
Mhm.
that much like social media back then where like you can
Yeah.
show. Um, so I was actually just showing it to her, and I think the idea was every time I told her I wanted to do bodybuilding, in her mind she's thinking about Kai Green, big,
Yeah.
yeah. That's like
You watching Kai Green, she's like, oh my God, my daughter wants to become him. What the hell? What is going
yeah.
on?
And I had to explain to her over and over, like it's different division. I'm like the first, like the division, like you don't have that much muscle.
Mhm.
Like I had to explain to her that so many times. And
Yeah.
again, I think it was when she went to the show and she was able to see that there was a big community,
Hmm.
right? Because remember, when we go back home, when we go back to our community, we are that 1% that do
Yeah.
bodybuilding,
Hmm.
right? So when she went to the show, she noticed how many people were at the show, how many girls was on stage, and back then those classes were like 40 girls, right?
Yeah.
It
They were
was it
big.
wasn't like 20 girls, 15, it was like 40, 30 girls in
Yeah.
one class. So she saw that it was not just me that had that interest. There was so many other people that was interested in that. She started
Hmm.
noticing like the healthy, like how healthy I got. And then she accepted it at that point.
Yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
good as well because it's the healthy habits you also pick up with bodybuilding. Like that's what they probably
Yeah.
don't see. They probably see you struggling, tired,
Yeah.
moody, all that stuff. And they're like, why is my, like, why
Right.
is my daughter put herself through this? But
Yeah.
I think that's good that at least you can show her and say, and I think that's advice for anyone that obviously is looking for that for either, this could also work for like friends and stuff as well, that anyone
Yes.
that just doesn't understand it, just show them what it's about and show them how much you care about it. And I think over time they'll start to accept it and understand it for sure.
Yeah. I
100%.
think now
So,
she enjoys it a lot more
oh yeah.
because now we always been active, and my dad is like the super athletic person. My mom is like the fun party dancer, and so we always been into like performing. So now when she see me on stage, especially now that we get like 45 seconds, she
Hmm.
loves that. Like every time I do a
Yeah.
show, she's like, "Where's the video? I want to see you on
Oh.
stage." That's like her favorite part, the
That's
routine.
so cute. That's so like
Yeah.
that. It's like the dad is like enjoying like the workout side of things, and your mom's like, right, show me the performance, the dancing, which is
Yeah.
nice because like they can
Yeah.
then both have connect with it. So sometimes if they just
Yes.
like they don't know about any side of
Right.
it, it's difficult to actually feel a connection with it. But that's so cute. I
Right.
love that.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
that was
So
pretty cool.
okay, that's cool. So then, so from moving from there, so obviously you got. Did you say you got that was when you got seventh, and then that was in 2017? Was that 17?
No, 2017 was my first national show when I did Junior
Okay.
USA. Yeah. And
Okay,
that
nice.
last
And
fall out.
then nice. And then moving
Yes.
forwards from that, when did you kind of start to get, better, more placings and, go into that kind of pro card realm?
Well, I would say it did go up and down. It was not like
Hmm.
like straight linear line at all. Because after I got my butt whooped at Junior USA, I was like, absolutely not. I did North American, and I was 100% with my diet. And let me say also, when I did Junior USA, I was definitely cheating on my diet. Like I remember going to Taco Bell.
No.
Yeah, I was that athlete. I would go to Taco Bell after I work out, get Taco Bell, and then the next day trying to do extra cardio. Yeah, that was Junior USA.
No.
So it was
Wait,
like,
wait.
yes,
So
yes,
what I mean, so obviously I think it's firstly, I think that's good that you kind of had that phase and then you got your butt whooped
hmm
though, and then you're like, okay,
yeah,
cool, now I need to take it seriously. Like, and that's I mean, don't get me wrong, that's happened to me before where you like, oh yeah, I can just have a few little things here and there, that's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
And then you realize you're like, yeah, that can't happen. Like
No,
that's
it's
just
like,
not
nah.
the
You're
case.
like,
So
absolutely not. So when I did North American, I was like, I am gonna be 100%. Like I am
Hmm.
paying my coach. I need to be serious about this. And I went hard for North American. First call out, great feeling we get first call out, and I
Yeah.
placed 7. So that was like
Nice.
really good. Yeah. So
Hmm.
it was just like, and then ever since then, it was like sometime I'll be in the first call out, sometime I'll be in the last call out. So I did North American first call out. Then I went ahead and did nationals in December. It was Miami National, but again, they don't want us to call it Miami National because they have it
Yeah.
different places.
Yeah,
So
true.
I did
Yeah.
that. That show was more competitive. I got third call out out of 5 call out with so
Hmm.
many girls. And then the following year, I think I did one national show in 2018. I did Universe was my first time doing Universe. I got second call out for Universe.
Hmm.
And then I think it was 2018, end of 2018, that something changed. Like my mindset
Hmm.
was different. I was also struggling because I was at that point where, like, every time I got on stage, it would say, I'm too muscular for bikini. I could do
Hmm.
figure. It was that moment also. So, end of 2018, I did a show in Nashville and I did both figure and bikini because it was just a way to, yeah, I did
I didn't know you did
figure.
figure as
I
well.
did. I was a tiny
That's
little figure.
Oh my God. Wait. So,
Yeah.
well, I mean, that was going to be kind of my next question in terms of how did you feel with that feedback, getting that
Hmm.
feedback that being too muscular and trying, well, now obviously it's a case of how did you, obviously, yes, how did you kind of change your physique in a way to kind of fit the
Yeah.
criteria at that time? But then also, how did you feel doing figure? Like, did you want to do figure or did you feel like it was something you had to do because that they said that you were too muscular for
I
bikini?
I wanted to do figure because I wanted to see where I fit in with the other
Hmm.
figure girls. So that show I did both. I did bikini and figure. I was conditioned enough for bikini. I was conditioned enough for figure, but at the same time, I think my glute fullness definitely gave me that pop for bikini.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So it was like I was in a sweet spot. It was definitely like when I did that show, I really was gonna make that decision of, okay, moving forward, I'm gonna stick to bikini, try different like cardio work, I just really change my protocol, or move up to figure and again change everything. Right, because I
Hmm.
was like, I was getting tired of getting that second call out, that third
Yeah.
call out, first call. And like when you get those call out at national and you in the middle, it's like, okay, like I'm in the middle. That's a good thing. But I want to be in that first call out, not second
Yeah.
call out.
Yeah.
So I did that show. I won both overall. I was, yeah, because I was so
Nice.
conditioned for figure.
Uh-huh.
Because
Okay.
when I was
Yeah.
in line, I saw a couple of girls. I mean, their shoulder could be twice my size. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get my butt whooped again.
You're like, why am I here?
Yeah, I'm
When
like,
like
what is
this is
wrong
not
with me?
yeah.
I'm like, what is
Fuck.
wrong with me? So I won both overall, bikini and figure. But when I got off stage, Mo was judging me. I
Hmm.
got off stage and I knew. I was like, yeah, I'm a bikini girl. I
Yeah.
just knew. Like at that moment, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to fight to be in the bikini division.
Yeah.
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 And then I asked Mo, and she's like, "You definitely a bikini girl." I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
that
Okay, that's
still
fine.
sealed the
Yeah.
deal." Yeah, it was just like
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah,
Okay. That's
yeah.
good. I mean, it's hard getting that feedback because I've had that feedback going into the pro league before, like previously before. And it's hard when you're like, okay, cool, but what do I need to change? Do I now need to not
Hmm.
train as much? Do I not need to like what do I need to do? And especially
Right.
because if you were someone that likes that muscle, like that you had, like you like your shoulders, you like your quads, the
Yes.
glutes, all that type of thing, it's like do I want to change everything about me to get that goal? And I mean, that
Yeah.
was that kind of how you felt in a way, or you were
Yeah.
happy with moving forwards with that?
That's exactly how I felt. And again, training previously, I was training super heavy. I was that girl that
Hmm.
was trying to do 4 or 5 plate leg press, like I'm in the gym, like you feeling
Yeah.
strong. And I even remember one time I watched it was a bikini play, I can't remember. But while watching from NPC News Online, they were showing their workout as a
Hmm.
bikini athlete. And they did like kickbacks, like deadlift, a couple of things. And I was like, that's it? I'm over here leg pressing, doing calf
Like, what am I doing
raises.
wrong?
Yeah. I was like, what is going on? I had no business doing calf raises. My calves are so huge. I was doing calf raises, like,
They're so
dude,
big as well, your calves. You
what
don't
is
need to be
wrong
so
with me? Like doing like two different exercise, four set of calf raises. I was like, what? But like it was just like at that moment, I was like, okay, I have to change the way I work out. I
Mhm.
have to really like tone down my muscle. I mean, I was sad a little bit that I had to lose a couple of muscle, like, but at the end of the day, I was like, no, I love bikini. This is the division that I want to, so I need to fit the criteria.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's good. I think
So,
that's good as well. Like sometimes bodybuilding in general, it comes with sacrifice, whether that be,
yes.
in the lifestyle that you have or what you do, there's some form of sacrifice that is there, which we
Hmm.
just accept and we have to move on with it. And I think that's
Yes.
good that you're kind of like, regardless of what happens, I'm going to try and fit this criteria versus, you
Yes.
know, having the ego. Sometimes it's hard to like
Yeah.
hear it and you're like, no, I'm going to do what I want. But
Right.
now look at you. Imagine if you kind of kept that ego and said, nope, I'm going to keep
Right.
lifting heavy and
But
doing this.
again,
Probably would be
right.
figure.
Absolutely. But like if
So,
you do that and you get second call out or last call out, you
mm,
can't be mad at the judges.
yeah,
You don't fit the criteria, you
exactly.
know? So
Yeah.
it took me a while, and I remember it was that year, well, 2018, I had already changed coach from 2007 to 2018. And I just changed my protocol. That's when I started running in the morning.
Oh,
I'm not a runner, I'm a
yeah.
dancer. My sister is the track star. But I
Yeah.
started running slowly. I remember the first time I went running, I thought I was going to die. I was like, this cannot be it. But now I run every morning. Every other morning I run. Yes.
Nice. And
Yeah.
do you enjoy that's really, I mean, was the running to start bringing your muscle down? Is that why
Yes.
you kind of did it? Okay,
Yes.
cool. To kind of
Hmm.
because the thing is, running is good because again, it depends on distance. Like if you're a long distance runner, which I
Right.
don't know how far you run, but most of the time, long distance runners obviously you're a lot smaller.
Right.
But if you
You have
find that
that
in
lean
between,
muscle. Yeah.
yeah, if you have that in between, it's a good way to maintain your muscle, but without just burning through it. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
So. And did you find like good results with that, like running
I
in
did.
general?
I
Yeah.
did. 2018, I think I started running a little bit, and then 2019, which is when I turned pro, I was running and I was doing the Stairmasters. I was trying before I used to try to avoid the Stairmasters. So I literally changed cardio, excuse me, all around. I was running in the morning, I was doing the Stairmaster at night, and I went back to the Junior USA in 2019. I got sixth place. First
Okay, so
call
it's
out.
improvements. Yeah.
Yes. So I got first call out. This is my fifth national at this point. I got
Wow.
first call out and I got sixth place. And I think I was in a class where I was like the shortest girl. Like it was one
Yeah.
of those things I was like, I had no business being in that class. But sometimes you can't really tell them. They're like, you're in
Yeah.
class D. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm short. I
Yeah.
should be in B
Yeah.
or C. Like,
I'm 5 foot nothing. What the hell am I doing in
like
this
what's going
class?
on? But okay. And like when I look at the pictures, again, like if you're shorter than the other girls, especially I have muscle, I will always look muscular, more muscular
Yeah.
than everybody else. I was the most
Hmm.
muscular out of the top six. I was like, yeah, great,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like,
Like,
okay, it's
cool.
happening again. Yeah, it's
It's
still
happening
happening. Yeah.
again. And then 4 weeks later, which was junior nat, I did change something different. When I did junior USA and I got sixth place, my my glam was a little bit too much.
Okay.
Like I think I had the biggest eyelashes on stage. Did not
Yeah.
need to have
Yeah, you're like,
that.
that did not need to be. We've
That
all been there.
no,
We've all
we
been there
won't do
when the
that.
makeup malfunction has been like way too much, and you're like, what's happened? Like, what's happened there?
At
Especially
that
like I
moment,
felt it's hard though. It's so hard. And
uh-huh.
I also feel being mixed or colored or black or anything. Sometimes, especially around that realm, it was difficult finding the
Yes,
right palettes, the right
yes,
colors. Like I personally struggled with that, like
yes,
in the lead ups, in my early years of competing. I
right.
find it tough to like, okay, what makeup do I need to do? What makeup looks good on my skin tone? Do
Hmm.
you know what I
It was
mean?
really hard. And
Um,
then it was also that time where like we would try to match eyeshadow with the suit.
the bikinis. Oh yeah, no,
Hmm.
that was a bad trend. That was a bad trend. So, but
It
I
was
mean, at
purple. It
least
was purple and purple. Purple
oh,
would be.
like real purple. Oh, that's
Yeah, so my
funny.
glam was like a little bit too much. And I remember I had curls, but I did way too much curls also. So
Okay, yeah.
going to junior nat, I also remember I looked at all the girls that won their pro card. I look at their presentation, how they look. I said, okay, I need to have more of a slick look,
Hmm.
less eyelashes, less eyeshadow. And I went with that route for junior nat, and I got my pro card.
Oh, and that was the
Yeah.
one you did.
Yes, that was the one.
Amazing.
Yep, I went
That's
from
so
sixth
good.
place to first. And when Cindy
Nice.
moved me, got me like that first call out, there was 33 girls in my class because you will never forget when you turn pro. So it's
Yeah.
33 girls in my class, and I was the last girl that she called, I think, to be in that first call out. She moved me in the middle, and it was a sixth call out. It was a sixth girl. So again, you
Yeah.
didn't know who was first or
Yeah, you're like,
second.
yeah.
Yeah, it was like, but she moved everyone around me except for me.
And
Yeah,
that's such a good feeling
it's
when you sit there
it's
like,
like,
is this happening?
yeah, you're like, oh, what's happening? And of course, like when you go back in your room, you're like, calm down, it's not over. It could
Yeah.
be first or
Just
second.
wait.
And you get all the messages from everyone, like, oh my God, like they're super excited. And you're like, no, we
Just
just have
wait.
to wait.
Just wait
Just
until the result,
wait.
please.
Just wait. And then when they called my name for first place, it was amazing.
Oh,
It was
that's
like I
amazing.
finally did it. Yeah.
Yeah, like so how many shows so that you said that was your sixth one. That was your sixth
It was
national
the
show.
sixth national show. Yes.
Wow. And and how what time span in terms of years was that? That was 3 years or 4 years?
3 years, 3 years.
3 years.
Well, two
Okay.
years because I did my
Yeah.
first one 2017. 2 years.
Okay, 2 years. So
Yeah.
2 years. 2 years to turn pro, but six national shows. Like that's
Yes.
pretty crazy. And I mean,
Yes.
you see a lot of girls now, they're obviously, yes, they're going for the pro cards, they're going to nationals and stuff like that. And I mean, I get it with a lot of my clients. They say, they're upset and disappointed and maybe their first season or,
Yeah.
second national show. And I'm like, girl, just give it time. Like you have to
Yes.
give it time. And I think you
Yes.
are a perfect representation of that in terms
Yes.
of like six national shows in 2 years that's a lot. Like
That is a
that's a
lot.
lot.
And I know a couple of girls that have done more than me. I think her name is Jessica. She turned pro maybe a year later, but
Hmm.
we became friends because we were doing nationals together.
Yeah.
But by the time she turned pro, I think it was her 10th national show. Like
That's
she's been
mad.
at it. Yes.
Hmm.
And she will
That's
always
crazy.
get first call out. Sometimes she's in the top five, top 10. You
Yeah.
know how like hard it is to keep going?
It's
Yeah.
so hard when you're in that kind of like you're so close, but it's still so
Yeah.
far. Like
Yes.
it's hard to keep going because you're like, okay,
It
cool.
is.
How long can I keep going?
Yes.
How long can I keep doing this for?
Yeah. And you
So,
start
well, that's
asking yourself, is this
insane.
worth it? Is this worth it?
Yeah. And it's hard
Yeah.
when that question kind of comes about because you're like, I
Yes.
love this so much. I don't want to give it up. But also, eh, the light starts to get a bit dimmer when you're like
Yes.
only running on fumes and stuff like that. And you're like,
Yes.
I want to keep going, but also, is it worth it? Like,
Is it
can
worth
I actually
it?
turn
Yeah.
pro? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I
It's
mean, okay.
tough.
So, firstly, amazing, cool. And then from there, where did you go with your pro season? Did you do a pro show that same
Hmm.
year or you did? Okay.
I
So, what
did.
did
I
you do?
did. I mean, I turned pro and I was like, my goal was to get to the Olympia. That was
Yeah.
my main goal. It was like, it was not like do a pro debut, place top five. I'm like, nope, I want to go to the Olympia. So my first pro debut was Chicago Pro
Hmm.
out of all show. Like, what now I'm thinking, like, what is wrong with me? Out of all show.
That's
Chicago Pro
back. So what year was that as well? What year was that?
2019.
Yeah, so this point system was still about. So that was a
Yes,
big. I mean, regardless in any way now, it's still a big show. So
it was a
like,
big show.
yeah, that's
It was
crazy.
again, it was 33 girls, and it was that time also when you pose, you will do your routine and you'll stand on stage and watch everyone
Oh
do their
yeah, and
routine.
you're A. Oh girl. Oh my
I was
god.
the first girl, the first pro bikini to do her routine on her pro debut. My poor self. Oh
And
my
then you
God.
stand there
And
like
I stood
I'm
there
dying.
for like an hour and a half or so, just all the girl pose. And then they did call out. Oh my God. I was sore for 2 days. Like my legs were
Yeah.
so sore.
And back then the routines were longer as well because
Oh
everyone would
my
do a T walk, walk
gosh.
to the back, walk forwards,
Yes.
walk back. Like it was long. So, oh
Hmm.
my God. So that must have been, I mean, what happened at that show? How did you do that show?
Oh, I think it was 5 call out. I think I was in the 4th call out.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I did not do good at all. But
Hmm.
I remember like when I did that show, I was like, oh, pro is definitely different. Like the pro, that's when I realized the pro look is different than an
Hmm.
amateur and NPC show because the girls were they were bigger for sure, but they were a lot fuller. And
Yeah.
I bought the physique that I won my pro show, I mean my pro qualifier, but I came in leaner because in my
Okay.
head
Yeah.
I thought they wanted that lean look, and I went to that show and I think the top 5 all the girls were really full.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different kettle of fish when you kind of jump from that kind of like amateur to pro
Yes.
scene now. I think, I mean, not even now, but it always has been. Like it's been that
Yes.
always like, okay, cool, we've got
It's
our
like a
pro
big
card.
gap.
Yeah. You got your pro
It's a
card and you go straight, straight to the bottom of the pecking order a
Yes.
little bit and you
And then
work
you
your
got
way
to work
up.
your way up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. So,
Hold on. I
and
got
what
to
was your
let my
feed?
dog out. Come
No,
here.
no, you're good.
Come say hi. Come say hi. Come in here.
Hello.
He's so spoiled.
Oh,
Say hi.
hello.
All right, come on, let's go out.
Okay, so the Chicago Pro, so obviously you got four call-outs at that one. What was your, obviously you said you came in leaner, so what was your feedback for that show?
So my feedback was build more glutes,
Hmm.
no more legs muscle, build more
Yeah.
glutes, fill out my upper body.
Okay. And I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you've just gotten down to obviously
Yes.
get the pro card, so now you've
To
got to go back up in a way.
yes. And that was
So,
really it was confusing. It did mess with
yeah.
my head a little bit because it was just
Hmm.
like, well, I could have when I turned pro, I could have brought
Yeah.
that same look to my pro debut. But I got
Hmm.
leaner and it was just like, oh, okay. So you guys are
Yeah.
actually looking for something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard when you get, like you said, sometimes it is a case of that contradicting feedback. But I feel as well, like we've always said, like you always know anyway, like it's all about, yes, how you look, but it's also how you stand next to other people as well. So
Yes.
like it, if you had too much muscle and not, obviously the amateur other girls didn't have the muscle that you had, it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, you're too muscular, you know?
Right.
Whereas
Right.
now it's like, okay, cool. Pros, you stand up to that and you're like, okay, cool. You probably do need more roundness, more fullness, more
More
projection.
roundness.
And you're like,
Right.
oh, okay, this makes sense now.
Yeah.
Um, and it's hard. That's hard going from that swap because I was the
Yes.
same where it's like less muscle, you get the less muscle, and then they're like, oh, you
Like
need
not
more muscle. And you're
now.
like, what do you want from me? So I think that, yeah, I mean, it's tough to go through that. But I think obviously, yes, over the years, you found your kind of like, you found your physique now, especially this
Uh-huh.
year, which we'll obviously get to hopefully soon. So, and then, so from Chicago Pro, how many pro shows did you, and that was in 2018, right?
2019.
Oh, 19. Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you do from 2019 or onwards? Obviously, what did you do after the Chicago Pro? Did you do more shows or did you have a
Uh,
rest?
yeah, I think after 2019, I got a new coach.
Hmm.
And in 2000, I think it was 2000, yeah, it was 2019. I did San Antonio. It was my second
Hmm.
pro show. And I went from last place, well, last call out or full call out, whatever, to when I did San Antonio Pro, I got third place in front of Sandy.
Nice. That's
Oh
very
my
good.
God.
A big
Yeah,
jump as well.
it was. And I remember I was competing with Jasmine. I was like starstruck. And who else was? Krista Molina was
Oh
the
my God,
girl
from
that won that
Spain.
year.
Yeah.
Yes. And being there with them, and I'm like first call out, placing third. I was on cloud nine. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good feeling. And of course, Sandy was just like, just be more conditioned. That was like my
Yeah.
feedback going after the show. Then that year, I went to the Philippines to compete.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize you'd already,
Yeah,
I thought your first international shows were this
the
year, to be fair.
UK.
I didn't, yeah,
No,
I don't know
I've
why.
done
So
two
that was the first
international
one.
shows before COVID. So I did in 20. Then after San Antonio, I went to the Philippines and I got third place again in the
Hmm.
Philippines. And then the following year in 2020, I think it was February, early in the year, I did Colombia. I went to Colombia. Did
That's fun.
Colombia, which was in front of Tyler, and I placed fourth. And that's when
Hmm.
COVID happened, and all this just started pushing back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and then,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, that's always tough. Like, I think everyone obviously got hit by the COVID era when
yes,
obviously, competing, it was just difficult to compete, if I'm
yes.
honest. So, okay, so that's incredible. And then moving from that, so fast forward, when was your first pro win? Wait, did you go to the Olympia on points at one point at all?
I
Or did
did.
you?
So in
Okay, yes, nice.
2020, COVID year, because so many shows getting canceled, so many shows getting pushed back. I was like a couple of girls were still trying to get their pro qualification. I was
Hmm.
on the list for points,
Yeah.
and I remember Chicago Pro was the last show. Chicago Pro was in Atlanta, and I was the fifth girl because at that time they were doing the top five girl in points will go to the
Yeah.
Olympia. So I was the fifth girl, and I had 9 points only. This just to show you how many show it wasn't that many
Yeah.
show during COVID. Um, I had 9 points, and there was another girl named Brittany. She used to be
Hmm.
my teammate. Her Brittany, black girl. She used to be with Ryan Hinton. I don't know if
Oh
you remember
yes,
her.
yeah. I think
Super
I think
tall.
so. Yeah,
She was
I think
tall.
so.
At that time, Ryan wasn't my coach also, and we both did Chicago Pro because I was like, okay, I have to do Chicago Pro because she does
Hmm.
it and she plays, she can knock me down, right?
Yeah,
I did Chicago Pro, did not get first call out. She got first call out, placed fifth,
yeah.
and bumped me out by 1 point.
Oh, oh, girl, I've been there. Oh, that era was
By
so tough.
1 point.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Can you
yeah,
imagine?
that's
Like,
tough.
it was like after prejudging, you knew
Yeah,
immediately, like,
because you
it's
add it up.
over.
You add it
Right,
up.
right,
Like you already
right.
know. You're like, if I get fifth, then I know it's this. If I
Yeah,
get fourth, like, and it's you just know. You're
yeah,
like, okay, cool. I'm done. Like
yeah. And I
it's
didn't
it's
even get
so
first
hard.
call out. It was just like, and I
That era was
remember
tough.
it was so tough. And I went to the Olympia that year. It was that when they have it in Orlando. I'm in December when everybody got sick. I went to
Mm.
it was my first time going to the Olympia to watch it, and I was like, I'm going because I was so close to making it. I have to go and watch it. And I just like when I was in the audience, like watching Jennifer Dory and like Angelica and everybody on stage, I said to myself, I'm gonna be on that stage next year. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm gonna be on that stage
I'm
next
gonna
year.
do it. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. And it happened. Well, 2021, I got qualified by points.
Hmm.
2022 is when I won my first pro show, which was Nashville Pitch Show in my
Oh my God,
hometown.
yes. I
Yes.
remember this now because I was thinking I could not remember for the life of me. I was like, I can't remember which was her first show because that's when I think I started to know you more. Like I saw you more because I was like, who's this
Hmm.
girl? Like she looks insane, like the pink
Yeah.
background. And I think also that
Yes.
was more where Nashville started to become more
Yes.
popular because of
Yes.
their
Of that
presentation
show.
and the production
Right.
and stuff. Oh
Yeah.
wow. So okay, so you went to the Olympia in 2021, right? So you did
Yes.
and you got through points. And how was your
Points.
first Olympia experience?
It was amazing. I was
Yeah.
like, I was just happy to be there.
Yeah, you're
Like,
like, this is crazy. This is
this is
crazy actually being
like
here.
this is happening. You know when you watch stuff on stories on people's story, and I'm like, people are watching my story now. Like
But yeah,
it was,
yeah. It's me.
it was like
It's me.
it was so fun, like seeing the name tag, getting the jacket, the meetings, just
Oh,
seeing everyone. It was, and then of course, I was the first girl on stage. My
you
my
were.
first Olympia, and
That's
I had to be the first
crazy.
girl to pose. I envisioned that every single day because I was like, I
Oh,
cannot mess up my routine. I have to like
yeah. I'm
open
the
up the
first
show.
one.
Yeah, I was like, I have to open. At first, I was freaking out, but then after, like, I just went over and over. I was like, yeah, I got this. Like, I have to
Yeah.
like open it up for everyone. Yeah.
Oh, that gives me butterflies as well because you're like I'm the opener. Like I'm the first
Yeah.
one the judges see. I'm the
Yes.
first one everyone sees. Like that's
I had
so
to set the
cool.
pace. Like, I had
Yeah,
to. Yeah.
that's so cool.
My
And then
first
okay,
Olympia was
so
fun.
yeah, so you did 2021 feedback for that. What was the feedback going into that show or go after? Sorry, after that
I
Olympia, what
think
did you
for
think you needed to work on?
2021 was to build more,
Okay,
just
so
to
it's still
build more,
buildable.
just a little bit more. They wanted more upper glute at that time. And I don't think they said anything about my upper body, but it was just upper glute, It did not say anything about my legs. It said legs are fine. No more quad, but it was definitely more like upper glute for 2021.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And then fast forward obviously into Nashville, obviously when your first pro show in
hmm
2022.
hmm
What, because was Sandy doing that show? Was it
Yes,
she the judge for that
Sandy,
one? Yeah.
Attila, Becky. It was a female panel, so
Female
all the
panel, yeah.
yeah, it was really good.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what did they then obviously when you got that first, that first place for your
Yes.
first pro show, what was the feedback moving forwards for just going into that show? Were they
Yeah.
happy with the muscle you built, or were you happy obviously with what the credentials you took to that show?
Yes, I was happy, and I think it was the smallest I've been on stage.
Okay.
It was for the first time. It was the smallest I've been on stage at that time. Like I hit my
Hmm.
lowest number. They were pretty happy. And again, as a competitor, when judges always tell you like, watch out for your quads, you have too much quad muscle. And I was also always drilled to like pose with like my toes forward. That's what
Hmm.
I did at Nashville Fit Show. And of course, I won that show. But when Etela was giving me feedback, she's like, you have the balance now. You don't have to do your
Oh.
back pose where your
Hmm.
feet are straight ahead. You can turn your toes out. Because they were saying like when I do it straight, one of my knee kept going in and it kind of looked awkward on stage.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like I think it's like my left, and I still see it now. Like it bothers you because like, as a bodybuilder, you want everything to be perfect. I
Yeah.
still see it now, but at that time it was showing a lot. So she was telling me you can turn your toes out. So I started doing that a little bit because now they were like, okay, like you are balanced, your quads are not big enough, like it's not
Hmm.
um overtaking in the back pose or in the front pose. And she told me to change my suit because I've been wearing purple for like a long time. Like
Ages. Yeah.
I will wear like I've done green, I've done blue, but I always go back to purple. Like I was like
Yeah.
purple is it. And she was like, we want to see you in a different suit.
Oh,
So
fair.
that was the
I
feedback.
like that though. At least they're kind
Yeah,
of saying so because sometimes they're like, oh, don't mind, and you're like, okay, like, should I wear this? Is this okay? Like,
right.
whatever. So at least they gave you that kind of permission to be like, do
Yeah,
something different. Like, we want to see something
yeah,
different. That's fun. That's so
yeah. That
fun.
was fun, and that's when I did like a blue suit. I was not a fan of it, but I still did it. It was that
Yeah.
same year, and I actually
Oh
I
yeah,
won
I
two
remember that
pro
one.
shows.
I remember that. Was it like a
It was like
aqua?
a
Kind of like
yes,
not. Yeah, kind of an
y-
aqua.
kind of that, yeah. So I did. I can't remember what I want to say. It was a Spectrum show. I did a Spectrum
Hmm.
show at that time when I won Nashville Fit Show. Kim was my coach, and then I did a show in California because I wanted to have that experience when he's there, and then we,
Yeah.
just having your coach there. And I won that show with the suit on. And I asked
Hmm.
Sandy. Sandy was judging also, which was really good for me. And I asked her, "Do you like the new suit?" She was like, "Yeah, she loves the new suit in comparison to the purple suit." And I did do a pink suit also. Was not a fan of it. But I was
Yeah.
okay, let me try the blue suit. And they did like it, but there was some type of misunderstanding leading on to Olympia,
Hmm.
and it just didn't work. So I went back to my purple suit.
Yeah. You're
Yeah,
like,
I'm
I just
sorry.
feel like this is home. You
Yeah,
know.
I was just like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna do purple. Yeah, yeah. Like, sorry.
Like I
Whoops.
just want to do my purple suit. That's fine. That this is
Yeah, so
the
I'm
thing is
like,
sometimes as well. It's like the thing with suit colors because I think a lot of people obviously there's always trends, right? There's always like
right.
there's the purple era, and I think that's where I definitely stepped into my purple era as well. Like I saw you see Jen Dory wearing it, you saw Lauralie. Like I was like right,
It
I'm gonna
was
wear
definitely a
purple.
purple era for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
100%. But it's nice. It
yeah.
looks good, especially on like darker skin's complexions.
Yes.
It looks good. It pops well. And then there's the blue era. There's red and all that type of thing. So
Uh-huh.
sometimes I get when the judges are like, yeah, we want to see something different because they see the
Yeah.
same thing, so it makes sense. But
Incredible.
but at least you're like, no, I found that's my color. I
Yeah,
mean, you
it
did
was
blue this
like
year though, did you not?
I did. I mean,
Yeah.
20 after 2022 with the Olympia, that Olympia was not my best Olympia. I have to say, although I placed the same as 2021 and 2022, like I
Okay.
was in the third call out, kind of in the middle, but I do like 2021, my presentation was so much better than 2022,
Mm-hmm.
that
Okay.
Olympia. And then moving forward with 2023, my first show was Charlotte Pro. And I was like, okay, let's do something different. And that's when I started going more towards like a blue suit.
Yeah.
So I did it was more like a bluish purple. It still has some
Yeah.
purple in it.
Yeah. Like a mix. A
Like
mix.
I couldn't let it go yet. So it was like a little mix. I did Charlotte Pro and then I won that show in front and it
Nice.
was like it was also another goal for me because I always wanted to win a show in front of Tyler. Tyler was judging the
Mm-hmm.
show, Tyler and Ettila, and then winning in front of him was like everything for
Yeah.
me. Because I won in front of Sandy a couple of times and I was just like, okay, like Tyler, at that time, Tyler's the head judge, and I wanted to win in front of him and I did it. And I remember after winning Charlotte Pro, I just felt really good and just felt like, wow. It was just like a privilege to win a show like right at the beginning of my season.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
wow, what a great feeling. I don't have to do any show. Like if I do a
Yeah.
show, it's just to see like, are we gonna try a different peak week protocol, like different suit, different plan, but there was no pressure because I was
Mm-hmm.
already qualified. And I was like, well, is that what it feel like to be a top pro? Just do one
Yeah.
show and win?
Just and that's
I
it. And
just,
that's it.
yeah, I was
Done.
like, this feels good. What a privilege. Like, I just remember feeling like that. Yeah.
That's so, I mean, that's what you work towards though. That's what do you
Yes.
know what I mean? Like that's what you work towards. Like you've already had,
Yes.
your 6 national shows to try and get your pro card. You already had like a lot of to try and get
Mm-hmm.
to the Olympia and that knockdown of 1 point, like to the Olympia.
Yes.
Now you've started to work your way up and like now you it's like you earn it. I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes people don't get that understanding of like earning it now because you have to go through the ringer. You have to do
You
your
have
time.
to.
You have to do all these things in between, which sometimes is frustrating, yes. But like I feel like sometimes as well, once you have gone through it and then you actually get it, you're like, that's so much more rewarding than just getting it straight
Yes.
away. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean?
It is. Because 2021, I did, including the Olympia, I did 11 pro shows.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yep.
That's a
It was
lot.
it was me. That's how me and Sierra became friends. But it was me, Sierra, Carolina, Ivana, and somebody else. Like we were all like on that point train,
Yeah.
like just competing all the time. 2022, I did 8 shows, including the
Oof,
Olympia.
that's
Yeah, and in
crazy.
2023, I did 4 shows or 3 shows. But it was like, oh
Hmm.
my God, man, I'm at the point where like
Yeah.
I don't have to do that
I don't
many
have
shows, and
to.
it felt
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it felt
Yeah.
really good. Yeah.
That's so good. Like that's I mean, it's like I said, you have to sometimes go through those struggles of doing show
Yes.
after show after show to get that privilege of what
Yes.
you have of okay, cool, I just have to do a few shows and I know I'm good because also it's experience. Like you
Yes.
went through all that to figure
Yes.
out what the judges actually want from you, which I think a lot of people sometimes forget. They're like, oh yeah, I'm
Hmm.
doing loads of shows. At one point, I'll get my win, which is true, but use those shows as like, okay, cool, what data am I collecting? Like what other things are
Yes.
they wanting to see from me and all that type of thing. So,
And
and that was
understanding
what
your
you did.
physique more
Mm,
too. Like as you grow to that, you like started realizing like your physique, like what works for you. Because I think
hmm.
also like even when you become a pro, like you watch other pros, you watch their workout, you do their workout, you're trying to figure it out. And it comes a point where you're like, okay, this exercise worked for me.
Yeah.
This, like this routine works for me. Like although other people are doing this, but this routine works for me. Like I can feel my glute. I think it takes time also for that.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
completely agree. And like, I think like you said, you can only do so much in your season. And I think
Yes.
if you only think about placings all the time, you're never going to get better as an
Yes.
athlete. Like you have to keep
Abs-
improving on yourself. And when the time comes, you'll get that
it will
win.
happen.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
100%. So, okay. So that was 2021, 2022, 2023. We were in the
2023.
same call
Uh-huh.
up for 2023, right? We were in 2023 Olympia second call
Yes.
ups. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
We're
we
in
were
the
in
same
second call
call.
ups for that
Because
one.
2022, you got top 10.
Yes. Yeah.
You got top 10. And in 2023, we were in the first call out. And I remember backstage, we like
Yeah, we were both
watching it
looking
and
at like
like,
we're so
like
close
how
because
is,
we were in
yeah,
that
how many?
middle range.
Yes.
We were in that middle range of potentially we could be in the top 10, but we didn't know. And I literally said this to Max yesterday because I said, "Oh yeah, I'm having a podcast with Vania." I was like, I remember when we were backstage at 2023, we were like, you had your phone and we were all
Yeah.
there like, okay, so how did it
Like, is
go?
yours clear? Let me see yours. Yours is clear. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I need to see yours. That I remember that so clearly. Like 2023 was so funny being backstage because we were literally just like, what's going on? And that's just what it's like, especially when it's obviously the Olympia has gotten bigger over the years as well. There's more girls. So it's not as clear as whether or not you're getting that kind of top 10 like
Right.
callback or whatever. So it's sometimes difficult.
And they
I mean,
did tell us
obviously
that call out also, they said step to the side.
stay, yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
step to the side, don't go anywhere. So it was like, are they gonna rejudge? So
Yeah, they were like,
we
were
were
they
all like
rejudging?
back there ready. Yeah.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think when we didn't get that top 10, I think my heart definitely sunk like in that moment. And it's so hard when you get that, like, oh, okay, like you work so hard for it and you're that close. Like, again,
So
you're like,
close.
oh,
Yeah.
so close. But I mean, from there, obviously, we then both went on to do the Arnolds. And like, this is obviously going into 2024. This year, you've absolutely smashed it. So, what was it changing wise that you did from 2023 to now Arnold to in terms of feedback wise, like what did they want to see from you?
So when I did 2022, for me, although I did not get in the top 10, obviously I wanted to get in the top 10.
Yeah.
It was a big jump for me because
Yes, it was still
2021,
big. Yeah.
2022, I was in third call out and I went from third to 12th place, 12 in
Yeah.
the world. Oh my God, I was over the moon. And when I got feedback from Etala and Cindy, they both said the same thing. They said, I finally got, the recipe or whatever you call
Yeah.
it. But I was too conditioned in the back, so I wasn't full
Okay.
enough in comparison. I was way too conditioned. Again, this was
Mm-hmm.
also my second time being the leanest I've been in my pro career, besides the Nashville Fit Show. So when they said that, it was kind of okay. I know how conditioned I need to be, but now I need to know how full I need to be
Yeah.
to get to be tight and full. Like you gotta find that in
Which
between.
is the
So
hardest part.
because then
That's the
I was like,
hardest
okay,
part.
I definitely push it too hard for that Olympia, but I know where I need to be at least 2 weeks before the show, a week before the show, and then leading onto the show, I can fill out and be less conditioned, less striated, because my shoulder were really like super dense. Like the
Mm-hmm.
cut right here was like super dense, and of course that was another mistake for me because when I was backstage waiting to go on. I had a band on just in my hand and talking to people. The
You
entire
just
time
pump.
I'm just like
Yeah.
not realizing that I'm pumping my shoulder. And I remember like the girls were like, Jessica was like, if you don't put that band down right now.
Put it down right now. Like your shoulders are pumped. They were pumped before you had the bands.
Yeah.
Like
And anytime we backstage, she's like, don't you touch your shoulder. I'm like, yes, ma'am.
thank you, mama.
Yeah. But that was like another thing. Like when they told me that going into the Arnold, both Arnold, it kind of gave me an idea of, okay, I know where they want me to be. They don't want
Mhm.
that much condition. So I'm getting close to the look that they want.
Mhm.
And I also know that I can't pump my shoulders backstage. That's the big no. There's no need for me to do that. I had the muscle. They didn't say anything about I was too muscular. It was just like the conditioning was too much.
Mhm. Okay.
So going to Arnold, although going to my um Ohio Arnold was not easy because I got food poison and COVID.
Oh my God, I remember you said that
Yeah,
as well. Oh,
yeah.
that must have been
Within
really
like
tough.
4 weeks. Yeah, it was horrible. I remember like I was 8 weeks out and I felt like I was behind in comparison to
Mhm.
everyone. And then I went like hard. Like when I felt better, I was just going so hard. And I remember at a point my coach was like, we cannot push condition. Like this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, like I think we had a good spot now where I can just cruise into Arno.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice. And then that's obviously where you got third place.
Yes.
Third place. Yeah. And I
Yes.
mean that's like especially after the Olympia, the caliber of the girls and stuff like that, incredible. So like that was such a great show for you, like an entry show,
I
especially right at the beginning of the year as well.
I was shocked. I was like, what just happened? I cried when I got off stage, like a little cry with Sierra because we were hugging and like I started crying a little bit. But I remember like going into the show, like leading up to the show, you know how everybody has previews, yada yada that.
Yeah.
Like I try to stay away from all of that. Again, like
Yeah.
being a competitor for so long, I'm like, it doesn't help. It doesn't help as
No.
an athlete.
No.
So going into the show, I just remember saying, I just want to get first call out. I don't want to be the 10th girl because
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
so
because you
little
know where
of
you've
us.
placed. You know where you've
Yeah.
placed with
It's
10.
just
So
like
it's
it's
like,
10 of us, you know. You're like,
yeah.
I'm like, I just don't want to be number 10, you know, and stuff like that. That was just like my goal. I just want to be in that first call out. And as the show was leading on, I noticed that my physique was a little bit different. Like the density was a little
Hmm.
bit different. And I was like, okay, maybe I can get top five. And I started
Yeah.
saying, okay, I want to get top five. That was it. Like my whole
Yeah.
entire goal going to the show was like, I just want to get top five.
Yeah.
And I think her name is Couture, last name,
Oh,
whatever.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Yes. Don't be mad at me if you watch this, Sean.
Yeah. I think that's her. Is that her
I think that's
bikini
her last
company?
name.
That's her
Yeah,
bikini company. I
Sean.
think that's
I
short. Yeah.
I should know her name because I'm going. I mean, her last name. I'm going to her conference in January. Okay,
Yes.
Sean.
Yeah.
She came to me when we had the meet and greet, and she was doing just interviews with everyone. And she was like, "Well, I my prediction is you're gonna be in the top four." And I was like,
Oh, okay.
"Fourth place, okay." Like I would take that. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just happy to be here. Like I'm like, this is my first Arnold. It's not that I don't expect too much, obviously, but I don't also want to be the last girl.
Yeah.
When prejudging happened, and I think they swapped me with Angelica, I
Hmm.
just knew I was getting closer. But I didn't know where I was
Yeah.
in the call out. I didn't know if it was like that fifth place or that fourth place. I thought that
Yeah,
was
because it
where
was
I
like
was.
that in between. Because it
Yeah,
was like the middle, obviously the middle two, and then sometimes when it's like outside, you're like, I don't. Especially when you're on stage, you're like, I don't know where
yeah,
everyone else is. I
yes.
know where
You
I
can't
am
really
a
tell.
little bit, but
Yeah,
I don't know where anyone else is.
yeah.
So,
And
oh
it's
my
not like you
god,
can go.
yeah, like where's everyone at? Where's everyone at? Like looking around, like
Like
okay,
you
cool, I'm
can't.
here.
Yeah, you can't do that. And then getting off stage, Sierra was like, "You definitely was like in that third spot," and I was like,
Oh my god.
and that's when I did like that video. I'm like almost like
Yeah,
screaming, but like nothing is coming out. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
it. It's I love because again I've heard now your whole story, like everything from the beginning now and like leading up, and obviously anyone listening to this has kind of heard it. To hear all of it kind of all like come together, it just
yes,
makes the journey so much, like we said before, so much more exciting because
yes,
not saying you've worked harder than anyone else because I feel like
yeah,
everyone works hard. It's not that,
yeah. We
but it's
all do. Yes,
yeah, it's like, but you just get your time. And it's just so
yeah,
nice when you finally get your time
yes.
happening. And that's obviously been this year, which has been absolutely incredible. So so cool. So you've got obviously did the Arnold. Then I
Uh-huh.
love that I've also experienced both of your Arnolds because those were such like the Arnold UK, I can't even explain like my happiness when I was on that stage and I was like, it was just so nice. Like it's
The
so
Arnold
nice that you got
UK
that.
was insane.
Yeah. It was
Like
just
the
spectacular.
audience was amazing. I remember like after the Honor Ohio, friends, family, they like, how was it? How was that? I was like, it was really good, very organized. The only thing was like the audience was pretty quiet. Like that was
Yeah.
kind of weird to me. I was like, at Olympia, the audience are more vocal. This one's
Hmm.
more like, I was like,
Yeah.
Arnold is like the clappy show. I was telling you, I was
Yeah.
like,
I
Arnold's
felt
the
that as well,
classy
to be
show.
fair. I was like,
I was
this
like,
was weird.
yeah, it's like super classy. And then I go to UK, completely different. I mean,
UK are vocal as fuck. They loud crowd.
they were loud, they were vibrant. I was just like, okay, this is and I enjoy that. I love
Yeah.
that about Honor
Yeah.
UK. Yeah.
That's so nice. Like that. And again, like that's something that you sometimes want on stage is like you want that kind of like, because it feeds into your performance as well. Like when
Uh-huh.
it's sometimes too silent, you're like, oh, I could hear a
Yes.
pin drop, or if I
Yes.
fall, you're hearing me like trip or
Yes.
fall or
Yes.
whatever. So
Uh-huh.
it feels weird. But like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice that you had that kind of like feeling behind that. So obviously, Arnold UK was just incredible because that wasn't your second pro win. So obviously that was your
That was my third.
third pro
Yes.
win. Third pro
Yes.
win. So then obviously Arnold after the Arnold UK, then obviously leading into Pittsburgh.
Yes. Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
And you got
I got third.
third. Yes,
Yeah.
third. I was like, I'm trying to remember. I was like, I think she got third. Yeah, so you got third. So, and obviously now then leading into going. So, did you do any more shows after the
No, that
Pittsburgh?
was
No.
it. Yeah.
So, leading from Pittsburgh into the Olympia. I mean, well, firstly, did you feel any pressure like going into then the Olympia? Because obviously then you've gotten so much better from last Olympia. Obviously from 11th, you just got top three at the Arnold's. You got obviously won the Arnold UK, third
Uh-huh.
at
And then
Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh,
against
yeah.
obviously Amy and Ashley.
Ashley,
So
yep.
yeah, so going into then the Olympia, was it like, okay, now I've
I
got to
gotta
either step
bring
up
it.
my game, or like,
Yeah.
did you feel that pressure like to
I
perform?
definitely did it. I
Yeah.
definitely did. And I definitely struggled going to that Olympia because I remember my body was like acting up also to a point where I thought
Mm,
I was having like hormonal issues. Went and got lab work done.
yeah.
Everything was good. I really think it was just stress and what was going on,
Yeah.
like family related. But I
Yeah.
remember 9 weeks out, and I was telling Kim, I was like, something's off with my body. Something's off.
Yeah.
And I'm also that competitor that I always have my cycle during prep.
Mm-hmm.
Always. I mean, my cycle will come the week before show, on show day. It came for Arnold. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, it's
It's on
always
time.
there.
She on
It's like
time.
on time. She's like always there. She doesn't miss. So, well, when I was prepping for the Olympia, I did not have my cycle for a month, and that freaked me out.
Okay.
Like, it was
Yeah.
just like something was off. It's like, this cannot be happening. And I did blood work. Everything was good. I was like, okay, this is definitely stress. Then, of course, my period finally came. And I remember I was 6 weeks out, and I was like, I still don't like the way I'm looking. Something is
Yeah.
off. My body is not responding. I'm like looking at my picture from like the time, like when I was like 6 weeks out, Pittsburgh versus now 6 weeks out from Arnold. But again, when I was six weeks out from Pittsburgh, I had competed already,
Yeah.
so the body is still tight.
Yeah.
Even for Arnold US, I had just finished competing. I had like a month in between or less, so the body's still tight. And then I had a long gap, and then getting ready for this Olympia. So it was just like, oh my God, my body's not responding. And when I checked in with Kim 6 weeks out, which was at Universe, he was there. I checked in person with him, and I was like, Kim, if my body don't respond within 4 weeks, I am not stepping on that stage.
Yeah.
I was like, absolutely. And I was like, I am not going to be that athlete that just do a show because I was qualified. I want to bring a good package, especially after the year that we had. I don't
Yeah.
want to step on stage. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to tell them, like what I'm going to tell them, like, because
Yeah.
sometimes people be like, family issues. And I'm like, it's not
I
even
don't
that.
know
It's just
what to
like,
say.
right.
Yeah.
And it's also like, it's like something like you don't want to say no to at the same
No,
time. Right.
it's the
It's like,
one show you've been like as a pro, you work towards your entire
yes.
career. Like you don't want to then say, okay, cool, no, I'm not going to do it. Like
Right. And
what?
it's
Yeah.
like, and then you also like think about like you don't want to get penalized for not doing the show and stuff. Like
Mhm.
all of that was going through my mind. I was like, oh my God. I was really struggling. And then I'll go to show. Like I went to North American, I went to Pittsburgh Pro, and I think I went to Universe. And every time, my friends saw me, the fan, they all like super excited, like, we can't wait to see you at the Olympia. And they will
Yeah.
be like, ran top five, maybe top three. Who knows? You get,
Yeah. And
and
you're like,
then of
ah,
course,
adding pressure.
like so much pressure. And of course, my black ladies, it would be like, represent. I'm like, oh my, like it was
When
motivation,
that's out, it's motivation, but it's also
but
then a
it's just
lot on your
like,
shoulders. It's a
yeah,
lot. It's
it was
hard.
just like, I have to bring it. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like, if I look like shit, I'm not going on stage.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna step on stage just to step on stage. So it was
Hmm.
definitely pressure. I would say within 3 weeks things started. Well, 4 weeks things started getting better. I was like, you
Hmm.
know what? I'm just gonna keep pushing. And I read something also that said, even when you don't see results, you have to keep going.
Yeah.
Because one day you might just wake up and everything is just in line. So, and
100%.
it's hard because sometimes like you literally have to keep going with faith.
Hmm.
And it's easy for you to be like, well, I'm not seeing any result. Might as well then let me go have donuts. Let me
Yeah.
go have this. It's so easy to say that versus I'm not seeing result, but I'm just gonna stick to it and do my cardio and
Hmm.
do my workout. And hopefully tomorrow, next week, I wake up and everything is like looks
different.
really good. Yeah. So that
Yeah.
was really tough.
Yeah. And I mean, it like I've said this before on like podcasts, with Lauralie and stuff. And it's tough when you're climbing the ranks and when you start
Yeah.
to get to that top level range of like, okay, cool. Like now I could get into, top 10. I could get into top 5. I could be doing this,
Right.
this, this. And like you already said, and I think all pros do it, I mean, anyone does it. You put so much external pressure on yourself.
Hmm.
And like you said, your fan base, everyone, your friends, family, everyone was so hyped for you. It's not them like being like, you need to get this, but they just have
Yeah.
so much faith in you that you don't
And they're
see.
so
And
excited, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And regardless,
Yeah.
even if you got last call outs at that Olympia, they'd still regardless love you for who
Yeah.
you are anyway. But again, because we have this pressure on ourselves that we want to exceed our
And I
goals,
think it's
it's
also like
hard.
we want to represent, you know? You're
Yeah.
like, I want to represent for all of you guys. You guys are
Yeah.
excited for me. Like when I go on stage, I feel like I'm representing for all my fans, all my
Hmm.
friends, you know? It's like
Yeah.
I want to do good for you guys, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
100%. Well, glad you definitely did it because like you got fifth place.
Yes.
Like, wow. Imagine if you didn't do it. You're like, nah, I'm just
Yes.
not gonna do
Oh
this
my
Olympia this
gosh.
time. Again, it's nice because it's that struggle you went through and you saw it through and the results came. Do you know what I mean? And I
Yes.
think the story behind that is like, or the lesson behind that is you just have to keep showing up. Like you are literally
Yes.
the definition of keep showing up because again, you see the journey throughout the whole
Yes.
time and you've got the results. And
Yes.
I think sometimes people don't see success straight away and they're like, oh, I'm gonna
And
stop,
they'll give up. Yeah. No.
and it's hard, especially in the pro league
Yeah.
because it's growing so much now. So
Yeah.
so obviously now we're here, 2024 Olympia, like what, wow. Like firstly, like when I was watching the playbacks, you weren't in were you in?
First
No,
call
you
out.
weren't in
No.
first class. You weren't in first class. So I was thinking, I was like, was she? You weren't in first class, but you got fifth place. So she
Yes.
clawed her way up. Like you
I
literally
really did.
climbed. You climbed your way up because. So
Yes.
obviously, what did you? Obviously, I know we spoke about it anyway, but what did you kind of feel when you didn't get that first call out? Was it disappointment or was it like what was going through your head when you didn't get it? What was
When
it? What were you feeling?
I definitely felt disappointed. I remember standing there and I looked at Sierra and she was like, it's okay. Like she mounted. She's like, it's
Oh.
okay. You know, like
I
we
love your
don't have
guys'
that.
friendship.
Yeah,
You're both so sweet to each other.
I
Like, it's
love
just nice
her.
having that relationship towards each
Yes.
other.
You need that relationship in bodybuilding. You need that
Yeah.
one person that gets you get
Hmm.
life and then
Yeah.
gets bodybuilding at the same time.
Yeah. I
You
love
know.
that.
Um, and I remember looking at her and she's like, it's okay. Cause you had that disappointment face and she
Yeah.
can tell like I'm just like
Yeah.
losing the energy and she's like, it's okay. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stand there. And my mind after that was if Cindy says call me for second call out, I just need to fight to get in that top 10. Okay.
Hmm.
And then she called me last
Yeah. Oh,
second
yeah.
call
Wait,
out.
which makes no sense because you are the first. You're the
Right.
first one on that stage,
I
so
was like
you think
number two
numerical
or number
order.
three. Right. She was
Yeah.
like, call everyone. And then she's like, number two, Vania. I was like, oh. I was like, okay,
Yes.
fine. And I'm like on the end at the side. And then we did front and back. And then she moved me in the middle. I was like,
Hmm.
okay, we're making progress. I'm definitely like in like now because at that point I think she had so Amy, Lauralie, Ashley, and
Top four
Jasmine
off.
to
Yeah. Top
top
four
four off,
off.
right? So when she moved me a little bit in the middle, I was like, okay, I'm looking at top six now in my head,
Yeah.
trying to stay calm and everything. And I remember when she swapped me with Issa, like
Hmm.
my heart, I was just like,
Yeah.
like calm down, just
Yes.
relax.
Yeah. Because you're
I
like,
was
oh
like,
my
what?
God, like this is great. Like, because it's
Yeah,
finally again, it's finally happening.
yeah,
Like the things are all kind of connecting.
right. It was just like, oh my God. And of course, we did the front and back, and then she told us to go on the side, and then she kind of did like a confirmation round. I
Hmm.
did notice that I wonder is it why I didn't get first call? I could have been between that gap. I went and got more glaze because somebody was like, "You need more glaze on your glutes," and I went and got more glaze. And when I look at the videos, the first when I was in that second call out, in comparison to when she did that last confirmation top four and then
After
another
you
top
came back
four,
off, yeah.
like at the end, my glute popped a lot more.
Okay. Yeah.
the glaze, with the glaze and everything, like everything pops so much more.
Yeah. Oh,
So I was
thank you
like,
to the
oh,
woman who said like
right.
get more glazed. Like,
Yes. I was like,
yeah.
this is what it's like. Everything matters at that
Yeah.
moment, like that day, like your glaze has to be perfect. But sometimes you can't tell until like you get
Yeah.
on stage and then someone's like, you need more glaze, you know? Yeah, that
Yeah.
definitely helped me too.
That's crazy. I mean, yeah, because when I did obviously the review and stuff, and you climbed your way back up, and I was like, wait, she was in top five, but not in first call outs. Like, but the
Hmm.
top, the top first call outs was eight of you, or eight or
Yes.
nine people. So it's
Uh-huh.
like you really had to climb your way
Yes.
back up into that. And I think sometimes I think reasons for that, because that happened to me in 2022 as well. Like I climbed my way back up. I feel like sometimes
Really?
they don't, yeah, because I think I didn't get first call outs, but I got seventh. And the first call outs, there was nine. So there was nine, because
Oh.
I remember I was like, I need to stay in this middle bit because I'm either ninth or 10th. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'm either 10th or 11th when I was in that
Uh-huh.
second call outs for 2022. So, and I was like, okay, please be like in the middle or something like that. And yeah, I think sometimes again, it comes down to comparison. Like
Yes.
they then see you and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, Vanya's looking really good. You
Right.
keep
Let's
moving.
compare
And they're
her.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
think I get really excited. Obviously, yes, I get excited for first call outs, but I always get excited for second call outs because that's the fighting, like, okay, cool. Who's in
Yes.
that like literal like 6 to 12 range?
Yep.
And that's so interesting to see where everyone falls. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because there was loads of underdogs in the top. There
Yes.
was loads of new people in that top 10, top 15 range.
Yes. They were. Yeah.
So it's super exciting. So, I mean, and then obviously going into finals, like, did you change anything from prejudging to finals at all?
No, I did not.
No, everything
I
the same.
mean,
Yeah.
everything was the same. I rested, ate the same food, make sure I had enough glaze.
Yeah. You're like, at least I know now. At least I
Yeah, it was like
know.
glaze and glaze and glaze. And it was just like, finally, I'm on that big stage.
Yeah. And you're on
Because
that,
I
the big
remember
stage and the podium stage as well.
the big stage. Oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
and I remember in 2022, like after that was like for me, it was like my worst look for Olympia. And I was talking to someone, I was like, one day I'm gonna be on that big stage. And the person said, we'll see about that. And at
Oh,
that yeah, yeah. And I was like, oh, I wish I could find you. I mean, I'm sure he's watching my story. I was like, I
but
know you watching my story.
but it takes you back to like again previous times of
Yes,
like again people have that underlighting doubt about you,
yes,
and again instead of leaning into it and be like yeah probably not, like you're right, you use that as motivation
yes.
of like yeah watch me bitch, like
Yes.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I had a coach, well known, always done preview and stuff, and he was like, this girl is not ready to be an Olympian.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
And
always that's another story, and it's tough when you
yeah,
obviously hear the reviews, the things, and then
right.
obviously
And then like,
again you climb higher and higher, you get those
yeah,
things, and people talk, and you can use that
yeah,
as motivation, and you can just listen to it, and it's noise, and it is what it is.
yeah,
But again, the top line is like you literally listen to it, you're like okay, cool, I'm gonna prove you wrong, and
yep.
you completely
I think I'm
did.
gonna use that for motivation. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, again, lesson learned, like for anyone out there that has like those underlining, self-doubt moments or comments that
Yeah.
people that don't believe in
Just
them.
stay focused. Stay
Hmm.
focused. Really have people around you that believe in you, because that definitely helps. Like when you have your people that believe in you, when you have a coach that believe in you, you have your friends. Um,
Hmm.
Fans will come and go, but you also have the ones that's like been there from like when you started, when you first have that approach, and like when you have those people around you, it keeps you motivated, it keeps you focused, because there
Hmm.
will always be someone that will say, you're not ready for this, you're not enough,
Yeah.
you're not that person, you're not it,
Yeah.
and you just gotta just tune that out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I couldn't agree more. And I think like I've said however many times, like your journey is literally the epitome of that. Like you've just kept going and going and going. Like it hasn't.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously we doubt ourselves sometimes, and I'm sure along the way you kind of question it. Like, is this actually going to be it? Like, is it ever going to
Yeah.
be it? I don't know,
Yeah.
but imagine if you listen to that like little voice in your
Right.
head and you would not be where you are now. And that's
No,
like,
I would never
that's
know.
motivation in itself. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
I
the
would never
worst
know.
part. Like not knowing is like, that's the worst part.
Uh,
Like you don't ever want to have that feeling of like, what happens if I did that? Like what happens if
right.
I just like done that show or did
Hmm.
this instead? Or like, it's just the worst feeling. So it's good that you were like, I know this is my dream. I know I want to get on that stage one day. I know I'm going to be here. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of when. So
Yes.
that's super exciting. Oh my God. I didn't know any of that stuff about obviously, figure and like all the, the national shows, like the 6 national shows, everything. So that was really, I mean, it's been so nice to kind of catch up and obviously hear just your entire journey of everything. And I mean, my final question, obviously I've asked you so many questions, but what are you doing now, like moving forwards? Like what's obviously next for you?
So Arnold is next.
Yes.
Depending on how Arnold goes, because I
Mm-hmm.
don't think they're gonna have Arnold UK. I mean, I would love to go and defend
Oh,
my
okay.
title, but
Mm-hmm.
they haven't announced anything. And also, I mean, the last time I find out that there was an Arnold UK was after I sent my application and they had posted
Yeah.
it. So it was kind of like a late post. I don't know if it's gonna be the
Mm-hmm.
same this year.
Yeah.
If they have it, I would definitely go and defend my title. But we aiming definitely for the first Arnold. Depends on how it
Yeah.
goes for the first Arnold. Of course, I want to go higher. And you said
Mm-hmm.
mentioned something. Since I turned pro, it has always been my thing. Keep improving, keep showing up. I have to keep
Mm-hmm.
improving, and I have to show up to show my improvement. So
Mm-hmm.
of course, going to this Arnold, I would love to place top two because I
Yeah.
placed third. So I mean, I want to move up and
Yeah,
see.
of course.
Um, then after the Arnold, maybe Pittsburgh, maybe New York Pro, maybe, and that's
Nice.
like a
Yeah.
big maybe because it all depends on how Arnold goes. Pittsburgh, I want to do Pittsburgh because it's gonna be like that big show
Yes.
this
True.
coming year. It's gonna be like Pittsburgh has been known as mini Olympia, but I feel like it's going to be like the mini
Yeah.
Olympia for
It's going to
sure.
be a very good, it's going to be a very
Yes,
good competitive show, I feel like, especially because they're now, there's so many, it's been so many announcements with obviously they're doing
yes.
more. I feel
And
like they'll
he's
want more
promoting it
people there.
over and over. So it's like that. But also like the past 2 years I've always wanted to do New York Pro because all my family and
Hmm.
my friends is in New York and I haven't had the chance to do it. So I was just like, do I skip Pittsburgh and do New York Pro or do I do both? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because last year I was really upset at myself for not doing New York Pro. I was like,
Really?
oh yeah,
Oh,
I
what,
was really
last year or this
upset.
year?
Well, this year.
Yeah, this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would you,
So
what, because they were quite close, weren't they? Were they
they were
a week apart this time?
they were a week apart, and when the list came out, I was just like, it was
Yeah.
such a like, it wasn't as competitive at Pittsburgh Pro, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I could have done it, could have placed really well. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember like when when the list came out, I was checking flight hotels, like maybe they'll
You
let me
do that
in,
though.
I was like,
Yeah.
like maybe I can squeeze in, although now they like you have to send you a contract a certain time.
Week before. Yeah.
Um, right. So it was just like, ugh, I should have done that
Yeah.
show, but it's okay. Like I'm hoping
Everything
that
happens for a reason as well.
everything happened for a reason. So definitely aiming for Arnold for sure is like a hundred
Hmm.
percent. Pittsburgh and New York Pro is like maybe it all depends. I might just do Arnold and go straight for the Olympia,
Hmm.
or Arnold Pittsburgh, or Arnold New York and Olympia. I don't know,
Yeah, you're like,
but we'll
it's
see.
like everything always changes. It's so hard because, especially because it's,
Yeah,
coming to the end of the year, you're like, I know I have like a beginning part of next year figured
yeah,
out, but after that, I have no clue because it could be all different. So I just don't
yes.
know. It's like, we'll see what happens. But no, that's honestly, it's been such a pleasure like talking to you and getting to know you just more and like just sharing your journey in general. And like one final question is, what would you, sorry, so many questions. What would you say to anyone listening to this that is obviously, in that range of, going off their pro card, either pros that are listening to this going for the Olympia or anyone just going for a goal in general? Like, what would you say for them to just, I guess, help them through that?
Don't be afraid of changes. Don't be
Hmm.
afraid of changing coaches. Don't be afraid of changing your protocol, your diet. Don't be afraid of
Hmm.
that. Really focus on yourself and try to create your own path because I feel like sometimes when we look up to pros, we like, I want to be like, I mean, there was a point I was looking up to you and I'm like, I want to be like Phoebe. I want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do this. And it's like, sometimes it doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's okay to have other people that you look up to, but it's really important for you to have that clear thing that you want to do with the sport. Like, what is your goal? Follow your path, and that's it. Like, be true to yourself.
Yeah, no,
Be true
100%.
to
Because again,
yourself.
it's so hard to get mixed up and say, I want, like you said, I want to do this, I want
Right,
to be this person.
right.
And it's not it
Yeah,
sometimes. I think taking inspiration from people is so great and motivation from someone, but not molding who you are
right.
into them
Like,
for
you don't want
sure.
to look into the mirror and be like, I don't know, I don't recognize this person. You
Yeah.
know, like, you don't want that. Like for me, like, when I go to the gym, I look like a boy, and I think I'm gonna always look like that.
Feel
You're
like
not
I'm
gonna
there for
find,
comfort. I'm not there for
yeah,
fashion. Like, just get me
yeah.
clothes that I
Like,
feel
I
comfortable
might
in.
look cute, but you're not gonna find me with like makeup. It's like, it's not happening.
No.
It is not happening.
Yeah.
And sometimes I look cute with like cute sets. Sometimes I look like I'm like a pen, not a pencil, a highlighter. Like, I have pink, orange.
A highlight.
Yeah, a
That's
highlighter. I'm like,
hilarious.
I'm here, I'm making it happen. It's just like, you have to know, like, this is me. Like, I had to learn that because I remember before I was trying really hard to like do this thing, and I was like, this is not me. Like, I don't feel comfortable. This is not me. I just want to be really comfortable with myself. And when people see me, they're like, oh, this is like, Vania's just a regular person.
Mhm.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
the
that's
thing
my
is, as well,
advice.
I think you'll feel you're most comfortable on stage when you truly are yourself as
Yes.
well. Because, like, it was me when I had my straight hair. I never felt comfortable. I was like, this doesn't
Hmm.
feel right. As soon as I went to Cali Hair, I was like, this is me. This feels
Like,
right.
you
This
felt
feels,
good. Yeah.
yeah. And I think
Yeah.
it's so hard. It takes a while to get there. But when you finally do reach it, you're like, okay, cool. This is where I am in terms of how I
Yes.
feel and stuff. So I love that. I like that
Yes.
a lot because it is very hard to sometimes lose yourself because again, you're following certain things that you need to do, all
Yes.
this type of thing, but also do you want to do them? Like you
Right.
have to ask that for yourself as well. So,
Right.
but
And I
oh
love that you wear your natural hair on stage, and that is one of my biggest goals, is to wear
yeah,
my afro on the Olympia stage. Now I need to figure out how I'm gonna do it.
how to
I
do it?
might do
Yeah,
it, how to do it, but like, that's like my dream, to walk on
yeah.
stage with my afro on the Olympia stage.
Oh, that would be that's the
Yeah,
next goal. We're like, that's the next goal.
that is
We're
the
gonna make it
goal.
happen at
We're gonna
some
make it
point. We're gonna
happen.
do it. So,
Yes,
oh my god, my girl, it's been so lovely talking to you. Honestly, like it's been
please.
such a pleasure. And guys, if you want to follow Vania, obviously go to her Instagram. I'll put the details down below in this YouTube and stuff like that. So you can follow her journey and everything like that. Going towards her next shows for 2025. But yeah,
Yes.
thank you
Let
guys
me
so
see
much
if
for
this is
watching.
happening. Usually it
Yeah.
happens. There you
Oh,
go.
there's a heart.
Yes.
What the
Here.
hell? I never knew that. I knew there was like the thumbs
Doing
up and
so
the
many
thumbs
things.
down.
Where's the thumbs up? Oh my gosh. It's not doing it. It
I
should
thought
be
it was the thumbs up and the
balloons and
thumbs
stuff like
down.
that. Oh, yeah.
That's so fun. Oh yeah, because you're on your
It's not
iPhone,
happening.
aren't you? That's
Yeah.
why. I was thinking, I was
Yeah.
like, I've seen people do the thumbs up, never the heart. That's
Uh-huh.
so
The heart
cute.
is like the cutest thing. There you
Oh,
go.
but honestly, it's been a pleasure. It's been so lovely talking to you. We've literally spoken for like an hour and a half. So
Yes.
you guys listening have a long, long podcast. And thank you again so much for listening, guys. If you have any, topics, questions, guests that you want to bring onto the Same Old Podcast next, please comment down below. But yeah, we love you guys so much, and we will speak to you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.